All right. Good evening and welcome to this evening's meeting of the Woodbury County Zoning Commission. Today's date is November 22nd and the time is 6 p.m. Will be audio taped and minutes will be prepared. In respect to all parties, we ask those present to turn off cell phones or set them to vibrate. Those in attendance are asked to legibly complete the attendance sheet on the front table. I would like to take a moment to review the procedures that the commission will follow tonight. First, the commission will handle the normal housekeeping agenda item. Then for each application on the agenda, I will open the public hearing on the item. The planning and zoning staff will then present the staff report, including the staff recommendation. Any letters or other communication received from the public prior to the hearing will be entered into the record. The applicant will then have the opportunity to present his or her case and respond to the staff report. Next, we will hear comments from the public. If you would like to speak either in support of or against the application, you must come to the microphone. Please state your name and address for the record. All interested parties shall be heard, but repetitious comments would be avoided. Repetitious or irrelevant comments may be ruled out of order by the chair. I ask that you remain respectful and courteous with your comments at all times. After all public comments have been heard, the staff and applicant may make a closing statement. The hearing shall then be closed by motion and vote. Thereafter, no further comments from the staff, public, or applicant may be heard unless asked for by the commission. The commission shall then deliberate the case and may ask questions of the applicant, staff, or any party offering testimony. However, such questions do not reopen the hearing for additional comments from the public unless so requested and approved by the commission. The commission will then formulate and vote on a motion. The motion will typically either grant or deny the requested application. Any commission member who has an ex parte communication to place in the record of this meeting should do so prior to the beginning of the deliberation of the respective agenda item. Thank you. A lot to bear here. So now do I need to call the meeting to order, or is that already happened?
Get that.
I did that. Okay, so let's do a lovely roll call.
Let the minutes reflect that everyone's here except for commissioners.
Andre? Just say. Okay. Public comment on matters not on the agenda. Do we have any of those? Anybody here for matters that are not on the agenda? Okay. Then I'd like to go to number 4, approval of the minutes of September 27th. Does anybody have any additions or questions?
I'm going to approve them. Second.
We get that?
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, number 5, items of business. Public hearing, Homestead 1867 edition, minor subdivision proposal. So, Dan, would you like to read this into the record?
Sure. Yes, John Weaver and Brian Weaver have filed an application for a 6-lot agricultural minor subdivision. The property identified as actually 3 parcels of crosses, parcels number 8844-052-00003, 8844-052-00004, and 8844-052-00001. The purpose is to divide the farm ground among the family and to establish separate parcels for 2 farmhouses that presently reside on the same parcel. There's no expected development as lots 1 through 4 will be for agricultural purposes, while lots 5 through 6 include existing houses on independent lots. The proposal has been properly noticed in the Sioux City Journal's legal section on November 10th, 2021. The neighbors within 1,000 feet have been duly notified via November 4th, 2021 letter about zoning commission meeting this evening. Appropriate stakeholders, including government agencies, utilities, and organizations have been notified and have been requested to comment. Significant comments included those from Mid-American Energy, who indicated that there's electrical lines on subdivision. They will require that an easement is maintained. The Woodbury County Soil and Water Conservation District commented that erosion control, bank stabilization practices should be implemented if any construction takes place on lots 1 and 2. They also stated that construction should be prohibited in the Mole Creek floodplain. After review of all the information received and the requirements set forth in the zoning and subdivision ordinances, this proposal meets the appropriate criteria, and it is recommended by staff to approve this proposal. And just in regards to the issues mentioning Mid-American, they typically power lines have prescriptive easements, so they should be able to work through that just fine. And as for the comments about the conservation district, basically, the staff administratively does regulate the floodplain. So if there was any attempt to develop, they immediately run into staff anyway. It comes to there, so those checks and balances are within the system. So that's something that staff has involved. There is an easement in this packet concerning the access that was drawn up by the lawyer for the property owner that we plan to record. It also reflects that this is for the 2 houses basically, and that those lots are just basically being split for agricultural purposes to divide the family. Therefore, we're not requiring any type of rezone or anything for a large scale type of development. It's just a agricultural.
So it's my understanding there's no construction being planned. This is just a little convoluted.
Yeah, according to the easement, it looks really intricate because of the access road, which has been out there. It's just a matter of that property kind of being south of their authority, and that's how you lead into the respective property. So they did file a maintenance access easement agreement for that purpose, and they even added further the language there about the 2 houses.
I think it's a smart solution. Okay. So, you have any questions so far? Oh, okay. Do we need to go through and review the criteria? Okay. All right.
This is, I think, this is kind of a common one where there's a situation where there's trust and family members want to split the property up as evenly as possible. Yeah, so that's what help us.
The other thing I will add is when subdivisions are considered under the zoning ordinance, we do need to require that they acquire the baseball elevation data that's in the packet that's underway. The issue with that is the DNR is typically 3 months behind, which puts pressure on property owners. Therefore, they can be required to record this separate. In other words, get the BFE data and then record with the recorder's office. These properties have a so-called baseball elevation level. So we're going to expect them administratively to do that.
Did you give them a time frame?
Yeah, typically we would say 120 days. So, and the property owner here, or excuse me, their attorney has appropriately filed that. So he's just sort of waiting.
So does that have to be in the motion?
They would file that separate, that's separate than this. Well, then we can handle that.
So to approve this, what do you need to do? Just a minute, yes, I will, but I want to know what my administrative is.
Basically, you can ask for any comments from the property owner or representative of the public. See what they have to say.
Okay.
Close.
And close the public hearing first.
Are we in public, we're not,
Yeah.
we are in public hearing. So you're gonna close public hearing now?
No, see if there's anybody.
Okay.
in public that- You got here first.
Is there anybody in the public that would like to make any comment?
My name's Alan Fagan, I'm the surveyor. I'm here to answer any questions that you have. I have no further comment other than what Dan said.
Any questions? I think it looks pretty straightforward. Are there any other comments? Anything here?
Make a motion to close the public hearing.
We'll close the public hearing.
then.
All in favor? Okay. Now, would anybody entertain a motion as written?
As was written.
Do we need to include anyone? We don't need to include any language about that.
I'll make a motion to approve the Homestead 1867 edition.
Okay. Thank you. All in favor? Aye. Okay. Get good? Let's see.
Yeah, I like this.
Okay, so let's open the public hearing for Whiskey Creek 170th edition minor subdivision proposal.
I guess you didn't.
Okay, Brenton Feichenberger has filed an application for a 2-lot minor subdivision on the property identified as parcel number 887024000006. The purpose is to divide the parcel into 2 lots for the eventual sale of the lots. The proposal has been properly noticed in Sioux City Journal's legal section on November 13th, 2021. The neighbors within 1,000 feet have been duly notified via a November 10th, 2021 letter about tonight's November 22nd, 2021 zoning commission public hearing. Appropriate stakeholders, including government agencies, utilities, and organizations have been notified and been requested to comment. No significant comments of opposition were received. It's important to point out that extraterritorial review is yet to be completed by the Sioux City Zoning Commission, which meets tomorrow, November 23rd, 2021. And the Sioux City Council will take this up on December 6th, 2021. These items must be definitely completed before the Board of Supervisors can take this up for approval. Yes, the 2 mile does add that extra layer onto the subdivision. Because based on the information received at this point and the requirements set forth in the zoning and subdivision ordinances, this proposal does, from a staff perspective, meet the appropriate criteria for approval. Staff does recommend approval based on the information that we have, and it's pretty basic, straightforward stuff. Pretty much.
Do you have any questions there? I have a question. If we move to approve this, what happens if the city zoning, if there's a issue there
We'll bring it back to you guys and we'll hold another public hearing.
before the Board of Supervisors sees it? It's back to us. Okay. Do you have any comments from the public, Mr. Al Fagan?
I have nothing further to add unless you have a question. Yes.
All right, thank you.
Good, I'm going to speak out, I'm just a landowner, so give me questions on.
This is your property then?
Yeah, both were sold, the house that wants to build on the lot to the east lot, and the other one is pending on all of this, to get into that house will go in.
You're the landowner?
I own the county here, and I think it's all of this.
Thank you.
What's your name?
Brenton Feichenberger.
You didn't tell me the name.
Yeah, no, I should just come around and done that.
I had one question, just a minute, I didn't mark it earlier. So Mark Nero was fine with everything too?
Yeah.
Okay, that's where, I think that is where that's coming from. All right. No other comments or questions? From my colleagues?
You don't have any?
Then can
Close the public hearing?
we close the meeting? Can I have a second on that, sir?
Sorry.
Thank you. All in favor?
All right. Okay, only 3 people.
Oh, I'm glad you.
We
guys
gotta
are
be on our
stepping up.
toes.
Just be giving you a closing statement. I realize I didn't ask you, you don't have a closing statement. I don't know if I can step up and say this, but
Make a motion to.
I'd like to make a motion, we accept this. I'd like to approve the Whiskey Creek 170th edition.
We don't have to have in the motion pending that Sioux City stuff, that just happens regardless.
Just one look.
I'll second that.
Thank you. All in favor?
All right.
Aye.
You guys are all set on your subdivisions if you want to take off. All good.
I do have a question. I'm looking at the agenda. You're gonna talk about the procedure. What's the next item, the zoning ordinance amendment?
That is, a section in the zoning ordinance that establishes the zoning commission, the board of adjustment.
Okay, so the same thing that was in the attachment. that I picked. Okay. That's all.
Tomorrow night is the Sioux City's plans on the meeting, correct?
That's what we were told that they have on their agenda.
What time does that start?
I don't know.
He's still upstairs.
I have that information.
And,
I think it's 6 o'clock. So, you know, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
So you don't attend those meetings,
Well,
either of you? Okay. Oh, okay.
If it rose to an occasion, we really need to do it. Cross. They're on the.
All right. Let's talk about conditional use permit residential solar panel. We are just reviewing this.
Yes, this, for clarity, this is a review that the zoning commission does and makes a recommendation to the Board of Adjustment, who actually holds the formal vote. So this is a review session. So go ahead and read. D-Day Cruz has filed a conditional use permit application to request for the installation and use of solar panels on the roof of his single-family dwelling on his property identified as parcel 864303300004. The proposal is to, okay, this proposal is properly set to go into, it did go on the Sioux City Journal's legal section on Saturday, November 20th, for the Board of Adjustment public hearing on December 6th, 2021. The neighbors within 500 feet have been duly notified via the November 17th, 2021 letter about November 22nd, 2021 zoning commission review meeting tonight and the December 6th, 2021 Board of Adjustment public hearing and have been requested to comment. As of the printing of the packet and of course as today's date as well, no comments have been received in opposition. Appropriate stakeholders, including government agencies, utilities, and organizations have been notified and been requested to comment. No major concerns were reported. The property is not located in floodplain. Based on the information received and the requirements set forth in the zoning ordinance, this proposal meets appropriate criteria for approval. Therefore, it's the recommendation of staff to approve this proposal. And this is really one of those residential type of solar panels. We even referenced it in a previous meeting before. And basically the idea of conditional use of solar panels, basically. And very straightforward, placed on the roof to generate energy That's all I have.
So our job on this tonight is to review it or to approve it
To review it and make a recommendation
to the Board of Assessors. And when we talked about solar panels, how far did we get with that?
Since I've been here, we've approved one residential, similar one, it was actually on the ground, this one's on the house. And we also did one, it was more commercial with Mid-America, which is definitely a separate ballgame than this being a consumer residential base. So the property owner basically, approached a company that's in the business of residential solar in the effort to hopefully reduce, energy bills and to go into renewable energy space. Place them on the house and, lower those costs. This is definitely a different scenario. And we will definitely talk about in a future agenda this evening, the whole makeup of, solar panels. But as for this particular agenda item, it basically follows the conditional use permit criteria that we have for our structure now. Staff went through and sees that this would be appropriate, use as an accessory to the residential property.
Are there any comments from the public?
This would be the property owner being Bruce.
Mr. Cruz, welcome to the meeting. You guys have any questions on this at all?
Does that have a battery backup system then? You store energy or?
I think there's no battery backup, but this is sell back to the power company. And then it reduces the electricity bill. I think it's 80-some%, 80, I think it's 80%. So it should reduce my bill from $700 to $100.
Very nice. Yeah, you might have started something here.
About a third of the roof, then, is that how far it is?
Yeah,
Third of that one half.
and unless I gotta, say if I go to in the future, to the 2015, it was Woodbury REC was 15 cents a kilowatt, now it's 26 cents a kilowatt. They're gonna boost it up 30 cents a kilowatt. And it's just for the future. They reduce instead of making a house payment, I like to make a regular utility payment.
So do you think you'd have to add on in the future?
Well, we got power, electric cars and stuff. So I'm not putting on right now, I'm not putting on I got gas heat. But see, in the winter, get less sunlight and stuff, so I'm not so sure I would want to do that. Unless it goes with gas. That's a possibility.
Did you have to add anything to your structure or your roof?
No.
It was light enough and I'm just being curious.
Yeah, I mean,
What's REC buy it back for, about 10 cents?
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to go too big. If you go too big, it's not worth it.
They don't want to pay.
No, they don't pay dollar for dollar. Yeah.
I'm on REC.
Then you know what I'm talking about.
Exactly.
Slam dunk then.
So please. I mean, this,
they're pretty good rebates and tax incentives on it then, or?
I just get $11,000 back. Cost me 41,000. That was included when I had to pay for the permit, so that's kind of about 40,000.
7,000 back.
Yeah.
Does it pay for itself?
$10 a month, like 7,000 a year. 30,000, about 5 years.
Yeah.
Geez, that's well worth it.
That's kind of what I'm hoping for. And I got the cash to pay for it, so I mean, I ain't like I got.
Right.
I'm just looking for the future, because if it goes up to 30 cents a kilowatt, I got a car wash in town here. And it's kind of sad when my car wash has less utilities than my house.
Wow.
That's the difference between Mid-American and Receipt.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of embarrassing.
Think of the rebates you get back ever after 10 years, right?
Yeah, okay, whatever.
I haven't got it. I've been 12 years. I haven't got one yet.
Yeah, we get the rebates, this is a tiny person. Well, I got 7 kids, had 7 kids, they're all grown up and grown out. I can't think of, just bill's gonna go down.
As you lost a kid, the price went up.
Yeah. It hasn't gone down.
Looking for the pig.
But new air conditioners in, you know, got the highest efficient I can get. And it still ain't going, it just keeps climbing.
Put the ground source heat pump in it. Help. Thank you.
Thank you. I for one approve this. I'd like to see how it works out for you. I'd
Well,
like
that's kind
to,
of what I didn't go wholeheartedly. I only wanted to, I put electric heating and stuff, so I mean, I didn't go all the way. I got more room on the roof, but I can go more on it. If I can cut my bill down $100 a month, I'll be happy.
that would be smashing. Do you guys have any other questions or anything?
Close.
Well, we didn't have a public hearing, this is just a review.
Just a review.
And the-
Set the motion.
I mean,
I'll make a motion. All right, go for it.
I'd like to make a motion to approve this.
What's the name of the bid?
Conditional use permit. I want my name on it, no, that's, I'm just excited
I'll
about it.
second it.
Okay.
It'd be a motion to recommend.
Oh, motion to recommend, I'm
Recommend
sorry, we have to go
approval.
to, yes, to the Board of Adjustments. So all in favor of the revised motion? Sorry about that. I'm so excited about
I knew what you meant.
it.
These guys, they got her back.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Geothermal. My father-in-law had all the construction equipment. So he and I went to Oklahoma State, got licensed, pipe fuse and all that stuff. Put one in his house and my house. That's all we've ever done is do 2 systems that we each have.
Geez, was it worth all that to?
Well, he owned the equipment, so it didn't cost me $500 to take the class. And the main cost that makes it prohibitive are the wells or the loops. And we put in horizontal loops, bored them. It's a boring machine, $250,000 boring machine, which is his.
What's he do for a living?
That's what he.
Oh,
he did that for a living.
okay.
He was in
How deep you go?
Well, legally, 15 feet, because if you go past 15, you have to have a well permit.
14.8.
14.99. I was running the beacon and he goes below 15. My father-in-law. I'm waving, stop, what? I said, you're going way past 15. He goes, who's gonna come out here and check? You're right. Yeah. We just kept running it.
I just look at it, looks good.
How far did you go down?
I wanna say they were, I want to say the loop's 180 foot loops, like 90 feet.
Just one loop then?
No,
Probably 4 or 5 wells. They're like 10 grand a well. If you get a well driller to drill.
that was a well driller that did it, but I think the whole thing, I want to say it was like, I want to say it was 28,000 for the whole system. I mean, the inside the house and outside, I want to say 28 grand. But then you get a third of that back, in tax incentives. And then you look at the return was, I mean, compared to an air to air, it was about a 4 or 5 years.
Does that include the actual, like, I guess I don't know, but do you have like a
Looks just like a
furnace inside?
It's just like what you'd have.
Except I got another water pump unit that pumps the. I could,
With the boiler unit?
It's like a manifold, all the pipes come in into a manifold, and then there's a special pump pack that circulates it.
Bad thing is I couldn't, because of where my utility room was too small to have the de-superheater, so I couldn't get the benefit from that. from the
I
hot
got
water.
the free hot water,
Yeah,
100% free hot water, endless.
So cool. Yeah.
So it works well then.
but
What's your annual cost?
I can, my house is, I don't know, 5,000, 6,000 square feet with the basement and everything. And I can have it air conditioned at 69 or 70 for $50 a month, maybe. It's like a meat locker.
That's insane.
Heat on a really, really cold days, that's not maximum efficiency. It's pinpointed for about 70% efficiency, but super cold days, not so good. The toaster kicks in.
if the ground gets too cold around it, then it'll stop pumping and use your backup. Like, I use backup gas.
Basically, the theory is 15 feet deep. The water that's polyglycol in the pipes is the same temperature, like 60 degrees year round. So that 60 degrees comes in your house, heat it up for hotter.
Yeah, I guess I've got to separate out my bill. I got, because I have a hot water bill because I got kids. So,
I got.
I have that unlimited.
Yeah.
Unlimited. But the superheater only works in air conditioning. So in the winter, I get free water, only during air conditioning.
Trying to do some serious construction and move some walls or just lose that.
Cool.
I'm sorry, guys, we have to get going on this. meeting.
Yeah, stop talking.
Sorry. You're distracted.
I gotta do my duty here, sorry. It was very interesting.
Don't worry, we're voting you in. All right.
Okay, so where are we at? Oh, we're discussing and actioning proposed rules of procedure.
So the rules of procedure are basically bylaws, which the zoning ordinance allows, but neither the zoning commission or board of adjustment have ever adopted. So this also is kind of required or will be necessary if you want to do hold electronic meetings. And that was something that Joshua Whitman, the assistant county attorney, said that we would need. And so he provided this language, which is pretty much what the board of supervisors use. I modified it a little bit. But pretty much it's just how you would conduct your meetings, what the agendas are like, what our roles are as staff, that sort of thing.
So we've never had rules of procedure
No, I believe that you pretty much read all of Robert's Rules of Order,
very loosely.
but no formal adoption or anything like that. And,
We tried.
So, I mean, really all we're doing is just sort of codifying existing practice and putting it in policy and adding the ability to participate electronically. Impossible or impractical, you mean, you know, if you're sick, you're traveling, you got schedule conflicts, etc.
By making that,
I had COVID during our first meeting.
And did you tell any of us that?
I don't know if I did or not, but we're on Zoom anyway. So.
So by codifying this, does that mean that we have to follow the Robert's rules more strictly?
Not Robert's rules, but just these, just
We don't do that.
I don't think we do. I don't own a copy of the Robert's rules.
I didn't know how to.
No, I mean, really, like, so like, in this instance tonight, with Barr being the most tenured commissioner, stepping up and acting as chair, that's pretty much everything that's in there. It's really, this isn't really anything different than what we're already doing. We're just sort of cementing it, Really, it's the electronic participation that.
What, I don't remember where I saw it. There's something about the terms in this.
Yes, that's in the next section, that's in the ordinance amendment.
But
And on that one, we can just walk back and forth, but so, no, you're fine. The text amendment is, we need to amend that because in there, it says that, it's got the percentage where a majority must reside in unincorporated and still allow people in the cities to be on the bodies. The law changed back in 2020, and so we never updated the language. And so basically what we're doing is we're just catching up the language in the zoning ordinance to be in line or be aligned with current code. The one part that is different, or I guess the one part that is in there about the term limits was requested by one of our county supervisors. Back in 2020, we told the board of supervisors that the law changed, lost 3 members, if another member passed. We told them that, you know, we're going to try to recruit. That's when these questions came up as far as like, what are your guys' terms? Do you have term limits? How do you recruit? Yada, yada, yada. And so it was suggested that when we do this, we consider term limits. It was floated to a two-term limit. I think the city, Sioux City does that. We borrowed some language and I just basically grabbed that from another one and put it in there. But the zoning text amendment comes to the zoning commission because it's an amendment to the zoning ordinance. And so you folks would review it formally and then make a recommendation to the board of supervisors. And the board of supervisors would hold up to 3 public readings of the amendment. Typically, it's non-controversial. They'll read it once, go into the second meeting, wait the third and final, and just adopt it after the second. Really, I guess, I think in terms of discussion, what do you folks think about, you know, term limits?
Well, I mean, the question I have on it, just thinking about, you know, like Tom's been on here a long time. And the question, I guess, is if this is adopted today, do those term limits start today or are they retroactive to? And if that's the case, then we may want to look at, I mean, unless we want to replace time. So, I mean, that's not.
No, I think what we would do is if,
I've seen that both ways.
we would probably put a disclaimer in to say that, you know, from this day forward, going, you know, so past service wouldn't count, you know, from today on.
What's current?
Current, there is none. There is none.
But,
Life sentence.
but there is on board of adjustments.
No, we don't have any term limits.
I think it's 5-year.
5-year terms, 5-year terms.
There's no term
But
limit.
you can serve consecutive terms over and over and over. Right, Dan?
I was thinking that.
Well, shoot, I was thinking that I
They
don't-
were kind of doing the term limits.
Wait, no, we did have, what's her name, Joanne Sandler.
Yeah.
And Tom actually, didn't he serve 2 terms and he had to?
People were serving terms and stepping down after the second term.
What was that? Yeah, that was Joanne Sandler,
Is
right?
it, yeah, because she was on the board of adjustments.
Yes.
And I was on the 2 5-year terms. I had to step down.
But where did that come from? Because it's not in the,
Yeah, we've looked and we haven't seen, I think where you were going with it is, I don't think it was codified, it was practice. Because there's a history more so on the board of adjustment that they served 2 terms, but there was more lengthy on this board. So,
But what was weird is I was on the board of adjustments. I took over for somebody from the past or something, but I had 2 years on them. Then I had 2 5, so I was on.
he's right.
I was on there
He's
12
right.
years.
That's freaking embarrassing. So why did we do that?
it's been
No,
a practice.
But you don't think it was ever written down?
Well,
We have it on our notes. So Palolo and the previous, John and the previous administrator, Shelley, we have notes ago of all the members. And we did see that. Now that we're talking about it, I do remember that.
Yeah, it actually says it on, we have this one sheet that basically has all 5 offices. And they've taken those sheets when you get the new board and the new board will flip through and see the old board. And it does say there's term limits on the Board of Adjustment.
Right.
So when you're digging into this, it looks to me like it was practice. So,
Cause I never really saw it in writing, but you're right, when it would list your name and like the date
Yes.
started, and then it would say 5
Yes,
years.
you are right.
I will show you another spot where I've seen it. It's on the county website.
It is.
Yes.
So, but to Jeff's point, you know, and that was something that we had talked about, was that historical knowledge. You lose that base of historical knowledge, and a lot of that history, you know. And so we do run the risk of that, you know. And but I remember someone had said that these shouldn't be lifetime appointments. And,
No,
This is,
but when you have,
Here thing and it's lifetime appointment for elected.
but when you have someone on there for 10 years, or whenever you have consistency. Remember 8 years ago, we ruled it this way, and without that research, or.
it's true. It's true.
yeah, this is kind of where that practice, they've had it out there, may serve for only 2 consecutive terms on the Board of Adjustment.
Executive, yes.
Now, when we go to the zoning commission on that same committee site, let's see, I think and this is. Run sheet insert.
Oh, it's in by Iowa code.
Oh, right there. So we go to that same type of page and they don't have that language here for this, for the zoning.
What's the Iowa code?
Oh, no, it was on the website or on that page. It said,
Yeah, they link the committees that are required by code or else county jobs.
Well, I'm not really comfortable doing this without Chris and Tom. Do we delay any action on it?
if you guys want to,
What did you talk to?
I didn't, not about this. No, I just talked about those first 2 things.
I don't know. I kind of like their industry.
so the rules of procedure, are approved by the Board of Supervisors. And, it does not require like the 3 readings or anything like that or a public hearing. So, it's not necessarily, it's up to you folks when you want to actually implement it and start it. If you want to sit on it and chew on it a little bit for the December meeting and then take it back up in January.
I'm feeling that way, but
How long has Tom and Chris been a long time?
Off the top of my head, I don't know. But we would, you know, do it so it'd be from effective this date. So pre-past service wouldn't count.
Someone thinks that Tom stepped down because of that and then got back on?
I believe that.
I don't know, yeah, I just know he's been on, well, he's on more than 2 terms, is what it sounds like to me. He brings a lot of value to it.
Oh, yeah. I know Chris was on Board of Adjustments first year I was on that, and then she.
Yeah, we really, as far as Dan or I, we really don't care which way you folks go with it.
But if you wanted to get rid of somebody, you could do it.
Well, Board
But
of
if somebody's-
Supervisors could be-
Take up to 10 years.
The Board of Supervisors could, I mean, obviously if you violate stuff, they can vote to.
Yeah.
remove it off the name.
And we could sit on this and say, you know, they don't want a zoning commission, Board of Adjustment doesn't recommend term limits. They could say, well, we do.
Right.
There's also there's attendance issues.
Yes. Oh, and we did talk about that in one of our meetings because we drafted this maybe sometime about 2 years ago or something. I remember we had this, we were working on this and then COVID hit and then kind of forgot about it. But we did talk about attendance and we did talk about making it 50% of the meetings instead of an actual number because, you know, sometimes the Board of Adjustment meets less frequently than the zoning commission. So
50%, I mean, I like the percentage instead of hard number, because if we don't have a meeting, we'll 70%.
Do you have anything there about gender equality?
Yes.
Is that on there
Yep,
still?
it's in there, and I think we pulled a little piece from the Iowa.
I saw that.
Talks about. Oh, that's in the amendment in the textbook. Members of the zoning commission shall consist of eligible electors as defined by Iowa Code Section 39.3, who reside within the area regulated by the county zoning ordinance, shall not be officers or employees of any agency or department of the county. And Iowa law requires all appointed boards, commissions, committees, and councils of the political subdivision to be gender balanced by using a fair and unbiased method of selecting the best qualified applicants. The board of supervisors may appoint any qualified applicant regardless of gender after making a 3-month good faith effort to appoint a gender balanced commission.
So if you could feel differently and want to go ahead and move forward on this.
I don't feel strong anyway. I mean, it's good to have their input.
Yeah. Yeah, as long as their experience, I think.
I think it's all on your part.
If you want to keep the ball rolling, you could reach out to both Chris and Tom, have a conversation with them about it. And also, because we do plan to show this to the Board of Adjustment at their next meeting. And then, so it's up to you.
I guess I would support it. Again, especially that language in there as far as, especially if Tom and Chris still want to insert. I would support it if they had no objections to it, I guess I would support it. If they did, if they wanted to discuss it more, I would support it.
I would too, but I would like their input. I would support it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll talk about that. Ways, what's it say right now is that, it doesn't have to be consecutive. But that was one thing I thought about is, so if they took a year off, came back, did another term, they'd be turned out. So I guess I think that's why it's written like that, is to prevent that from happening. You can take that 1 year break and come back. But, I don't know. I will include, before we send it or bring it to the Board of Adjustment, a line in that establishment section, which would say, like from here on forward or from this date forward. So that way, any member that's on either of these bodies would still continue to serve up to 2 more terms, 5 years each.
Because if they take a year off and somehow they're allowed, if they're bad, they're allowed back on and then it's moves.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, really, if they do their 2 consecutive terms and then they take a year off and those 10 years were bad, if they get back on.
They could come back on again. It's two life terms anyway.
Well, the way the Board of Adjustment says 2 consecutive terms, it doesn't say 2 life terms.
This says 2 terms total.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I was saying. So the way that this is proposed, it's to prevent people to be able to take that 1 year to get an extension or whatever.
Oh, so yeah, 10 years, take the 1 year off, get 10 more years.
5, yeah.
This is 2 total terms, but the way this is written.
Yeah. So 10 years, you can serve 2 5-year terms, and that's it. Can't take a break.
Serve up to 2 terms on the commission, whether the terms are successive or
Okay, so now how about, my scenario?
not. That's about ours too.
Yeah, Board of Adjustments, I did 2 years filling in somebody, and then I did 2 5-year terms, and then on this one, I'm doing 1 year.
You 1 year or 2 year?
1 year.
I had 2 year then?
Yeah.
I thought you were the 2 year.
He's already reapplied.
He sent me a thing, I reapplied. So,
Did he reapply for you or did you reapply? Just, okay.
And that's the application process basically is that, the announcement gets out there, gets posted in the paper, at least one time we have it running, it's been out on social
Yeah,
media.
it feels weird to do this, because we're trying to be transparent and publicize it, so it's not like that would be great of you, but it's just that we have to make it like an honest effort to publicize it.
Oh, the public has to know.
yeah, I filled out the whole thing again in totality and sent it in.
I'm just saying I didn't do.
But
that.
if this gets approved, or if the board of supervisors takes, approves this, the way it's currently proposed, everybody would just start over.
I know, but like in the future,
The problem is gonna run in, I guess for myself, if we approve this, they don't get kicked off. A year from now, I'd be up to reappointment, then I wouldn't be able to complete 2 full terms.
I see what you're saying. Does a partial term today, cause part of that. I'll work on that.
I would just, if we change it to two complete terms, following the adoption or something like that.
this is a special circumstance. You don't expect people to quit or pass away or. And
That's 2 complete terms, I think.
And that, just for the record, going to zoning meetings since the COVID thing, that's come up. We've seen it on our COZO, which is a group board, where people talk about the circumstances of farmers that have retired, moved into the city and left that home in terms. So that was such a unique scenario there. It's tough to codify to account for that, and I think all of us must see.
So, the zoning text, just straight copy and paste job out of the Iowa code, as far as powers and duties. And then, and then the rules of procedure, it's essentially to give you both the ability to participate in the
Just from that, is that language that's from the current one? That said the impossible and practical, or?
Yes, that was from the board's bylaws. And I thought about saying such as and providing examples, but they didn't, so I just backed out.
Just also doesn't mean police it for.
Yeah, because then it's up to interpretation, so. Saw Jeff driving around the courthouse.
You cost $100 to spend that payment.
Yeah, that's big.
Okay, so
Think of that, too.
Yeah, okay.
So if you guys are good with that, I think I got the direction you want.
did we kill 2 birds with 1 stone?
Yes, you do.
Would you like to go on to solar energy then?
All I wanted to let you folks know is, I sent you the email maybe 2 weeks ago. And it was basically just an email that said, this is what I'm looking at right now. And it's what ISAC, Iowa State Association of Counties, and the Iowa Environmental Council suggested that we use as a starting place. And really, after I've done a little research on the solar, I think it's really kind of 2 issues. We've got residential, like this guy's tonight, which currently is a conditional use. And we just did a little informal survey by calling all the city clerks in Woodbury County. We're pretty much the only local government in the county that requires a conditional use for residential solar installation. Pretty much everyone else is flat out an accessory structure type of a thing. And so, and then on the large scale commercial stuff, it's really just setback driven issue. Property lines and structures, occupied and unoccupied. And then there's some screening and landscape.
There's no height issue with the solar panel?
No, not really, because, no. And so really, I really don't think that, this is really only gonna affect most landowners down in Cornell Industrial Area down by the coal plant. That's where they need to be. So that's pretty much where they're going to be. I don't foresee a large scale solar farm going anywhere but that area. And it's really just gotta be based off of setbacks, right of way setbacks, property lines, structures. And then, I think, should have the ability to impose, require some screening, some natural landscaping. There's some stuff that they can plant to help pollinate, create bees and natural prairie. And once those panels if they're ever decided to move, the ground is in a good state and can be farmed or tilled over or whatever. And so I don't really think it's going to be that controversial, but I just wanted to ask, do you have any ideas or suggestions or recommendations on stakeholder engagement or communicating to the public or anything? I just don't want to step in anything like last time.
Another question. Back up, trying to listen to what you said about, did you say Woodbury County was the only one that had issues?
Pretty much.
You're talking about the Woodbury County, in Woodbury County.
Yeah, like all the cities in Woodbury County. Some of them don't even have it in their ordinances on how to address it.
Yeah, we compiled a list, basically staff that went through and asked each jurisdiction, and many of them, as David indicated, don't even have ordinances specific to solar. And much of them, if they were to have solar, for example, residential, just be assessors.
But what I understand about it, it just seems like it's complicating things. If I put an asphalt roof on my house, or I put a metal roof on my house, no one cares. What's the difference if my roof is solar panels? Versus if 50 feet from my house, I put up solar panels in the yard, then it's an issue because you might have setbacks. You might, so to me, if it's on its roof, I don't even know why we mess with that. To me, that should be totally off the books. But if it's not on your house or not on a building that's pre-existing, then you might have to have a condition.
So glare is one of the issues that people typically think will be an issue. If a neighbor has panels, am I going to need glare? And I don't think that they're not designed to bounce light off. They're designed to absorb that light. So I don't think that glare is much of an issue as far as the reflection or bothering you from across the street. They don't really make noise, very little noise. I mean, they do.
I'm sure some people think they're outside.
Yeah, I mean, it's just one of those subjective things like the winter, because some people say, I think they're beautiful, other people think they're hideous. So,
And it is kind of fascinating with the density of Sioux City to just have them be outright.
That's what I kind of think. It just feels, I don't know. I mean, I guess like as we have started to work on it, in my mind, I'm not gonna lie, I kind of have formed the opinion that I feel like it should just be an allowed use for residential installation. On the large scale, I would like to put some parameters in there where we've got like road use agreements, where we've got, how do we call it? Like when you're done, you gotta like decommissioning, thank you. A decommissioning plan, those sorts of things.
That stuff, the proposal from my farmland, they had all that in the 20-year agreement, the extension, and they turned the soil back to normal.
Yep. So, I guess, and so I sent, the information that we're looking at to the supervisors, to zoning commission, board of adjustment. We formed a work group, me, Dan, Joshua Whitman, Mark Nara, at emergency services, the emergency management director, county assessor, and our finance controller. So we're working on drafting an amendment or, something for y'all to look at. And I'm hoping that we could probably bring you a rough draft like in December. So that's all I just wanted to let you know, but what I will do.
Is there any benefit to getting any insight? Mid-America or REC on?
Yes, so that is what County Farm Bureau, REC, Mid-American, we will hit up all of the usual stakeholders. We will publicize, everything, all papers. So I guess I just Want to try to be as transparent as possible.
I want the low sales people.
Say that word. But other than that, I just wanted to update you and let y'all know where we're at.
That's perfect. Thank you for doing
You bet.
That's the face, you can make one thing sold then. Electric cars done.
And then I'll just add one thing. So, on the subdivision that we approved tonight, that hasn't gone in front of the city zoning commission, we've let, surveyors know that it is our practice to not put a final plat in front of the zoning commission or supervisors until we're pretty confident that it's the final plat. And so was uncomfortable putting the subdivision in front of you guys without having Sioux City go through it first, because they get extraterritorial review for a purpose.